Hi everyone! From the previous video lecture, you have learned about whole person theories that explain about the whole person, as well as attitudes and behaviors, feelings, emotions, values, beliefs, and virtues. So for today's video lecture, we will discuss about development stages in middle and late adolescence. So the many physical, sexual, cognitive, social, and emotional changes that happen during this time can bring anticipation and anxiety for both children, to us, and also to our parents and families. Now, it is very important for us to understand the things that we need to expect during these different stages so that we could prepare, and then at the same time, we will be more knowledgeable about it. Okay, so I want you to read the questions that you can see in the slide. So, do you remember the feeling you had when you finally celebrated your 13th birthday, which symbolized your teenhood? So, I'll give you a minute or two. So, I want you to remember it. Um, what is your feeling during that time wherein you were 13 years old or already? You were a teenager already. Are you excited that you're a teenager already? Or nothing special? Okay. So as adolescents develop physically, they also develop cognitively, psychologically, socially, and spiritually. So there are a lot of aspects wherein a certain adolescent can develop. So we have physical aspect, cognitive aspect, psychological aspect, social aspect, and spiritual aspect. So we have here Erik Erikson. So he was born in 1902. He was one of the most influential psychoanalysts of the 20th century. He is best known for his theory, 8 stages of psychosocial development. So Erikson's basic developmental framework, or the 8 stages of psychosocial development, negotiated in the context of relationships. It continues to illuminate our thinking, as does the concept of the identity crisis, the confusion of roles that Erikson first identified. So, these psychosocial development, or the stages, the 8 stages, try to define the human development with a crisis or a conflict. Each stages in Erikson's theory builds on preceding stages and paves the way for following periods of development. In each stage, Erikson believes people experience a conflict that serves as a turning point in development. So he said that a conflict, it's natural, and at the same time it will make us grow as a person. If people successfully deal with the conflict, they emerge from the stage with psychological strengths that will serve them well for the rest of their lives. And if they fail to deal effectively with these conflicts, they may not develop the essential skills needed for a strong sense of self. So there's an advantage and disadvantage. So this is the stages of psychosocial development. So as you can see, we have here infant or infancy, toddler, preschooler, grade schooler, teenager, young adult, middle-aged adult, older adult. So majority of you, so I believe you're just around 17 to 18 or to 20 years old. So you will fall under the teenager category. Okay, so infancy from birth to 18 months. Infants or babies rely upon their guardians or their parents, most especially with their mother. If the mother or mothers are responsive and sensitive to their baby's needs, it helps the infants develop a sense of trust. Now, if a child successfully develops trust, the child will feel safe and secure in the world. If not, the baby will develop feelings of anxiety, fear, and mistrust and see the world as unpredictable. So the basic virtue developed during this stage is hope. Next is the second stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development is early childhood, which ranging from 18 months to 3 years old. It is focused on children developing greater sense of personal control. They are starting to perform basic actions on their own and making simple decisions about what they prefer. So you can observe this mostly from your younger siblings. So if you have younger siblings or if you have siblings that the age is ranging from 18 months to 3 years old, you can really observe this thing wherein they try to do things on their own. Or for example, just asking them or simply asking them whether what color do they like or would they like to eat ice cream or chocolate. So again, if a child have dealt with this stage successfully, then therefore the child will feel secure and confident, while those who do not are left with a sense of inadequacy and self-doubt. Erickson believed that achieving a balance between autonomy and shame and doubt would lead to will. So that is the basic virtue developed during this period of will, which is the belief that children can act with intention within reasons and limits. The third stage of psychosocial development is late childhood, which is around 3 to 5 years old. At this point in psychosocial development, children begin to assert their power and control over the world through directing play and other social interactions. So, as you can see there in the picture, they try, this is considered as the play age, so they play a lot. That helps with their development. At the same time, this is the period or the phase where they mimic or they mirror others' behaviors. They start developing their creative side. So you can see your walls. It has or a lot of scribbles and colors. Because again, this is the time wherein they are exploring their creativity. Children who are successful at this stage feel capable and able to lead others. Those who fail to acquire these skills are left with a sense of guilt, self-doubt, and lack of initiative. So that's why whenever your younger siblings are showing something, all you just need to do is to praise them, appreciate whatever they have done, because it will really help them a lot, especially in terms of their development. Next is we have school age, 6 to 12 years old. The fourth psychosocial stage takes place during the early school years from age 6 to 12 years old. So through social interactions, children begin to develop a sense of pride in their accomplishment and ability. So this is the time wherein they will bring the activity that they did at school. They will show you the stars that they have received from their teachers. Now, all you just need to do is to appreciate it and to support them that they really did well in accomplishing the activity. Now, children need to cope with new social and academic demands since school age, so basically grade 1 up to grade 6, so they're having a new phase of life as well as new challenges, and they are starting to fit in, trying to fit in the crowd, talking to their classmates and the likes. So success leads to a sense of competence, while failure results in feeling of inferiority. Children who are encouraged and commended by parents and teachers, or those children who are receiving praise and appreciation, they're most likely to develop a feeling of competence and believe in their skills. On the other hand, those who receive little or no encouragement at all from parents, teachers, and friends will doubt their abilities to be successful. Adolescence, so this is ranging from 12 to 20 years old. I believe majority of you are in the adolescent stage already. Identity versus role confusion. The fifth psychosocial stage takes place during the often turbulent teenage years, so it's very confusing, and there's a lot of challenges that you're about to face during this stage. So this stage plays an essential role in developing a sense of personal identity, which will continue to influence behavior and development for the rest of a person's life. So whatever you have discover during this stage or stage of life, it will be with you as you grow older. Teens need to develop a sense of self and personal identity. Success leads to an ability to stay true to yourself, while failure leads to role confusion and a weak sense of self. Next, we have young adulthood. So this is where I belong. Young adults need to form intimate, loving relationships with other people. So if in adolescent stage, you are more into self-discovery, knowing who you are as a person, here in young adulthood stage, you are looking for a potential partner or someone who could be with you in the future. And also, you are searching for real friends. You prefer quality more than quantity, so it's fine with you whether you don't have whether your friends is just around to 1 to 3 individuals, as long as they are true and loyal to you. It's fine with you. This stage covers the period of early adulthood when people are exploring personal relationship. Erickson believed that it was important that people develop close, committed relationship with other people. Again, no one is an island. Those who are successful at this step will form relationships that are enduring and secure. And now we have adulthood, 25 to 65 years old. So adults need to create or nurture things that will outlast them, often by having children or creating a positive change that benefits other people. So if in young adulthood you are looking for a potential individual who could be with you in the future, here in adulthood you are expected that you have your own family, you have children already if you plan to have one, and then at the same time, success leads to feelings of usefulness and accomplishment, while failure results in shallow involvement in the world. So basically, you are more committed in the world because you have your own family during this time. Ideally, okay, you are not required to be in that certain situation when you reach this age. During adulthood, we continue to build our lives, focusing on our career and family. So those who are successful during this phase will feel that they are contributing to the world by being active in their home and community. Those who fail to attain this skill will feel unproductive and uninvolved in the world. Now, we are at the last stage of psychosocial development by Erik Erikson, maturity, so 65 years old to death. The final psychosocial stage occurs during old age and is focused on reflecting back on life. So this is the time wherein you were thinking about the decisions that you have made when you were younger, and then you were about to reminisce all the things that you have experienced. At this point in development, people look back on the events of their life and determine if they are happy with the life that they lived or if they regret the things that they did or didn't do. I have read or I have watched this. It's a documentary wherein there are um, elders that were asked by an interviewer. The question was, what do you regret the most in your life? And the majority of their answers are they regret the things that they didn't do when they were young. So those who are unsuccessful during this stage will feel that their life has been wasted and may experience many regrets. The person will be left with feelings of bitterness and despair. Now let's define identity identity and role confusion. When we say identity, when psychologists talk about identity, they are referring to all of the beliefs, ideals, and values that help shape and guide a person's behavior. So this is not just knowing your name, it is more than that. Again, it includes beliefs, your ideals, and values that help shape and guide you to have this kind of behavior. Now, completing this stage successfully leads to fidelity, which Erickson described as an ability to live by society's standard and expectations. So, the moment you had found your identity, you will not be easily influenced by other people. So identity is the concept of an individual about himself and often referred to as self-identity. So every one of us, we have our own identity. That's why we have this what we call individual differences. Our sense of personal identity is shaped by our experiences and interaction with others, and it is this identity that helps guide our actions, beliefs, and behaviors as we age. So that's why we are different from one another. It's because we have experienced different things in life. Next is role confusion. So role confusion, it is confusion over one's self-concept or the absence or lack of such a concept. So this is the opposite of identity. In identity, you have found yourself already, assuming that you'd able to you'd able to pass that stage. So when we say role confusion, this is about being unsure of who you are and where you fit. So you are shifting or changing from one job to another, or relationship to another. Again, you are not decided with the things that you wanted to do, or if ever you have think of something, it will surely change over time. So that is what we call role confusion. You were confused with your life. The changes during adolescence. So these are the changes during the adolescent stage. So first one is the cognitive growth. When we say cognitive growth, it is usually marked by the ability to comprehend abstract concepts. So this is one of the most remarkable change during the adolescence period. So the way how we think, it is different way back when we were young. So at this stage of life, we can understand concepts that are very hard to understand way back when we are kids. For example, we can now explain, or we can now understand the concept of freedom, human rights, love, a lot of things that we do not understand when we are young. Next is we have experimentation. So when we say experimentation, it's a common activity among adolescents as they search for their identity. So basically, almost all of adolescents, individuals, we have experienced this experimentation. So we need to do some experimentation, or we need to experience some things for us to find our identity. So experimentation in a way that there are individuals wherein they wanted to be treated like adults, or there are individuals who wanted to be part of different organizations just for experience. And next is sexual experimentation. So they wanted to know, or they wanted to figure out whether who they are who they are sexually. Skills and tasks appropriate for middle and late adolescence. So here is the list of the skills and tasks that we should have when we are in the middle and late adolescent stage. So first is developing occupational skills. Of course, we need to make sure that we have the skills. We have some of the basic skills that we can use whenever we look for our future occupation. Self-reliance, ability to manage their finances, very important. You need to learn how to manage your finances. Social responsibility, mature work orientation, personal responsibility, positive attitude toward work. Next is additional list of developmental tasks and skills a Filipino adolescent should acquire. So first is being courageous and standing up and being different to your friends. So here you need to keep in mind that being different is fine. You are not required to become someone else. So just be who you are. Show your true self to your friends, because if they will not accept you being just you, then therefore they're not the right friends for you. So you do not need to pretend someone else just because you are pressured that your friend had achieved these things, and then you will compare your life to them. You tend to say things that were not true about yourself. So again, you need to be yourself, and you need to accept that you are different from your friends, you are different from other people. Developing self-esteem. You need to motivate yourself. No one will do it for you. Start within yourself. Being true to yourself and avoiding the tendency to please others. So just like what I said in number 1, so we cannot please everybody. There are individuals whom we're about to meet that um, really dislike us. But again, it is not a requirement for everyone to like us back. Okay? So it's okay. It's fine if they do not like you. It's part of life. You do not need to please everyone. It's okay. 4. Learning how media and advertising influence your thinking and feelings. Do not let social media affect your life too much, because again, um, I do not really suggest being exposed to social media that much, because it may affect your mental health as well as your social skills. So, whenever you read articles or whenever you are looking for something, you could just go to sites or visit sites that are reliable, and at the same time you were sure that whatever you are about to read in that site, these are facts. Becoming aware, number 5, becoming aware, critical, and being involved with social issues. And next is embracing a healthy lifestyle, developing your spirituality. So these are the list of developmental tasks and skills a Filipino adolescent should acquire. So this is where our lesson ends. So this is again chapter 3, challenges of middle and late adolescence. If you have any questions, feel free to message or ask your teacher about it. So, see you next video lecture. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day and always take care.